This is the story of the state coming back to life. With me by telephone, Senator Marco Rubio. And Senator, thank you for your time. I know you went to Key West late last night. What did you see on your visit down there?
Well, a lot of damage, obviously, no power. It'll be a while. There's a lot of components to this we got to start thinking through. You know, the Florida Keys, if anyone's familiar with it, is a place with a lot of small businesses, you know, from the local bait shop to the lobster fishermen to the charter captains to the small little inns. It'll be a long time before some of these men and women are up and running again. So the economic damages, not to mention the cleanup, and then the access. You know, the Keys are hard enough to get to now. A single road basically runs up and down the Keys. So it's, it's also difficult, especially if traffic starts to pile up, and then you got to get the crews in there. So a lot of challenges in the Florida Keys and in different spots of the state. So obviously we're still focused on ensuring that some of the acute needs are being met, whether it's any sort of ongoing rescue up in the northeast part, and then kind of thinking long term, how do you get power back? What do you do with the folks that are displaced? You know, FEMA's got a program to help people who need temporary housing. So ensuring that all of that's coming online is the next phase of this.
Yeah. I understand you're going to Jacksonville today, so you will canvass the entire state within 12 hours. How do you think Florida did, Senator?
Well, I mean, obviously, there's different places. You get different reports. Surprising amount of damage in the southeast part of the state, even though it didn't take the brunt of it. Obviously, the flooding in the northeast, the devastation in Key West. We also got a chance yesterday from overhead to see some of the damage in southwest Florida, flooding. You know, the things people don't think about, the agriculture community, our citrus industry, which is one of the big things Florida was already struggling with citrus greening. So we'll get a damage assessment on how bad it's been for them and of course, the people that work there as well. So, you know, I mean, Florida, you're not getting some of the images that you may have gotten from some of the bigger storms over the last few years, but some of the underlying long-term damage is the kinds of things that we still don't have a full assessment on. But, I think we have a lot to be grateful for in terms of our first responders, firefighters, police officers, and others, National Guard, and the Coast Guard, the Navy, the Air Force. So many people chipped in here and really, I think, saved a lot of lives on the front end by moving people and yesterday by responding in Northeast Florida to numerous rescues.
Yeah. You're going to need some money to get back on your feet. You know that fight is coming up ahead. Do you have a sense yet of what this storm will cost, frankly?
No, I'm not sure yet that people know what that cost is, obviously in the billions, and it's a lot of components to it. People that are not going to be able to go back to their homes for a while will need temporary housing. That'll cost money. Obviously, a lot of the cities and counties have gone out and expended significant amounts of funds, not in their normal budgets, for cleanup, for debris removal, and other overtime operations. So that's where you'll see some of the FEMA reimbursements kick in. So there's a lot of assessments yet to be done. And I think the difference between this and other storms, it's a statewide event. I mean, usually you'll have a community impacted by a storm. In this case, virtually every part of the state got some damage. And then, of course, we have a lot of Department of Defense facilities. You know, Key West is a Coast Guard station down there. It has a naval facility, a naval air station. So we also have to keep in mind the cost to the Department of Defense and some of these facilities around that will also require some rebuilding. They play a key role in our national security. So there's still some work to be done. I think the first priority is life and safety, and then comes the rebuilding part. And I think we're still involved in the first angle of it, especially in some of these shelters. And of course, the second part is now underway.
180,000 in shelters as we speak now. Senator, thank you for your time. I know you got another busy day today, and so we'll see how things go. But, this is a several-day, if not week event, depending on where you live in the state. And the way you characterize it is so accurate. It is so large, and never has the entire state of Florida been affected by the same storm. It is that large. Senator, thank you for your time. I want to move down to Phil Keating now. Isla